Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, California Resources Corporation, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and the Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
We are live today with Casey the Bull and friends at the Great Kern County Fair, and we're here to do the math!
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
And I'm Scott. And young or old, if you'd like to join us, please give us a call. If you're here in Bakersfield and you have a math problem you'd like to see worked out on air, give us a call. The number is 636-4357. If you're in San Luis Obispo, you can also call us with a math question. The number is toll free for you, 866-636-6284. You can even email us your math question if you have that one ready to go. Do the math at kern.org. You can watch the show online, of course, dothemathonline.net. And if you are any part of social media at all, we are also covered on all those bases. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, you know what? Speaking of the San Luis Obispo students, they have a little contest going on. We'll get into that a little bit more later on during the program, but the schools that are involved are already fully aware of that, and we'll see how their tallies keep going up today.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We saw Marylou with Casey the Bull and some other guests out at the Kern County Fair.
Right.
So we will be visiting Marylou in a little bit, and we'll learn quite a bit about what's going on at the fair, other than the rides and the concession areas and the games and things like that. Some of the things that are actually very educational out at the fair this year.
Right.
And before we get to any of that, let's first take a look at today's Math in the News. All right, well, today's Math in the News, I found this in Sunday's paper. It's a letter from a guy, I don't know, young or old, but from Mesa, Arizona. So let's take a look at this. My high school math teacher introduced us to a number with a unique property. You could multiply it by any number, and the result was especially interesting. Okay. But I don't recall anything more than that. Do you know the number? Now, I am assuming that Gary is not in school right now, and it was something that happened last week.
All right.
So hopefully he would have remembered the number.
Right.
So I'm assuming that Gary is a little bit older and probably remembers this thing from days gone by.
Sure.
And thinking about high school days and how much fun they were, and thinking
And how
about
much he loved math.
You know what? I remember that math teacher gave us a number, and there was something interesting about it, but I just don't remember the number.
Right.
So I'm going to have you, Scott, head on over to the board.
Okay.
All right. And here's what I'd like you to do. I would like you to write down 1,357 times 9.
Okay.
And just solve that problem for me first.
Sure. Okay, a little long multiplication. 9 times 7 is 63, and we'll carry a 6. 9 times 5, 45, plus 6 more is 51. Carry a 5. 9 times 3 is 27, plus 5 more is 32. We'll carry this 3. And 9 times 1 is 9, plus 3 more is 12. So hopefully I got that one right. 12,000.
Nicely done. You are correct.
Hooray.
You retain employment thus
All
far.
right, good.
Okay. Now what I'd like you to do is take that answer and break it up into the separate digits and add those up.
Okay. So place, each individual digit?
Right. So you're going to go 1 plus 2 plus...
Uh-huh. So we'll add the digits. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then we have this 3 here. So we're adding all those together. It looks like at the very end of this whole thing, we get a 9.
So that is the number he was trying to remember. If you multiply a number by 9, the product you get when you add up the sum of the digits will be 9.
Oh, every single time. Yeah.
Try this again.
Okay.
Erase the board. I'll give you another one.
Sure.
So we've got 8,642 times 9.
Okay. Okay, here we go. 9 times 2 is 18. We'll carry this 1. 9 times 4, 36 plus 1 is 37. Carry that 3 there. 9 times 6, 54 plus 3 is 57. Carry a 5 here. And 9 times 8, 72 plus 5 is 77. Wow, we got a lot bigger number this time.
Right. So I wanted, because kids will see, you'll see at the end of this. So
Sure.
add those up first.
Okay, so we're going to add these two here. We'll get 14. And we'll add these two. We'll get another 14. And this one will be 8. 14 and 14 is 28 plus 8 more is 36. We didn't get 9.
Right. But now take the 3 and the 6.
Okay,
There we
one more
go.
step. 3 plus 6, 9. Look at that. We're back to the beginning.
There
So
you
sometimes
go.
it doesn't work on that first step, but if you keep going.
Right.
gonna
And I
put
figured we'd go ahead and try that one right there.
Yeah.
And then this brings me up to the next point.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and keep looking at, oh, you know what? I think I got rid of your smartboard altogether right there. So we may have to check on that in a moment. But anyway, the number 9, you remember the song Love Potion
Love
number 9?
Potion number 9, that's
All
right.
And then from there, a nonagon is a 9-sided polygon. And from there, we can figure out the number of diagonals for a polygon. So
right.
based on the number of sides, you can figure out with that formula how many diagonals there are in a particular sized polygon.
Okay.
So if you have a 10-sided figure, so we're going to take 10 and put it wherever the n is.
Right.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 10 minus 3 is
7.
7. 10 times 7 is 70. Divided by 2 is 35. So we know that with a 10-sided figure,
Right.
there will be 35 diagonals.
Okay.
So that's a little bit more on the number 9 and how you can use that with a nonagon and then the number of diagonals for a polygon, and goes on and on and on from
Right.
there.
9's pretty
All
useful.
from the number 9. That is today's Math in the News. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 on most Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And just as I thought, I did get rid of your smartboard right there.
And yet it comes back.
So we're going to see if this comes back, and there it is. Easy as that. Now, before we head out to the fair, I wanted to just remind the students out in San Luis Obispo County, the 2 schools, Ocean View Elementary as well as Grover Beach Elementary, they are in a contest. And what they're doing is they're trying to see which one of the schools can phone in the most during the months of late September, October, November, and then early December. So the school that calls in the most will win. Now, between now and then, every single student that phones in to do the math, and we do one of your math problems, you automatically, you don't have to wait for the contest, you automatically get ice cream, courtesy of our friends at Doc Bernstein's Ice Cream
nice.
Lab. But
Hey.
only the first bell. Let's say your school calls in the most, and you could call in the most by 1,
Okay.
or it could be a 20-point difference.
Sure.
It makes no difference. The school that phones in the most, we're going to take a look and see the students that phoned in the most. Those students will then receive a private guided tour with Doc himself of the newest facility over on the Central Coast.
Yeah.
So you can see
Hey,
all of the
multiple bells on
things
that one.
behind the scenes. And I dare say, because we've been over there with Doc before, we will be getting some ice cream in our bellies that day. And that is some fine, fine ice
They're
cream.
going to need
over
some
there, I can tell
chaperones
you
for that tour, no doubt.
Oh, I'm already signed up for that one. You might get on the list for that one too. But on top of that, the student from the school that phones in the most will receive the golden ticket. And here is a copy of the golden ticket. That student will receive a sundae every month for an entire year.
That is definitely
That
worth a little
deserves
cheer.
a round of applause.
Yeah.
Indeed, indeed it does. Well, you know what? That is the contest for those 2 schools. We're going to get Scott to work in a little bit, but right now we're going to head out to the Kern County Fair and visit with Marylou.
We are live today at the great Kern County Fair, and I am with David Hanley from the Buena Vista Museum.
of natural history and sciences.
There
okay?
you go. And can you kind of tell us a little bit how long you've been with the museum?
Oh, we've been a museum in essence ever since we left CALM. CALM was about live animals and we were about dead animals. They had to grow, we had to grow. So the deal was we need to be a separate museum 20-some years ago, 23 years ago.
Oh, wow. So you've been separate for 23 years.
Right.
Where is your location? Because we're obviously at the fair, but...
We're on 2018 Chester Avenue, between 20th and 21st Street on the east side of the street.
And what is your position there?
I'm the vice president of the board, board secretary, and anything else that anybody needs to do, including cleaning windows or sweeping floors.
Can you kind of tell everybody what we're doing standing in this giant shark mouth?
all of a sudden, like you're going to have the movie The Meg, and it's about our fish, and I realize it's about our fish. Kern County has more sciences than any other sciences in the continental United States. One of the things we have is the largest Miocene fossil bed in the world, which was 12 to 17 million years ago. The megalodon shark swam around the oceans from 23 million years ago to about 2.3, 2.4 million years ago, and then they went extinct. So if you want to study them, you go where the fossilized megs are.
And you kind of have a picture, right, to show us that area?
We've got the valley, where the Miocene fossil beds.
Can we go over there and kind of look at it?
We can certainly do that. If you notice, here's where Bakersfield is. This was all a great big marine bay, maybe like Monterey Bay, only 5-10 times the size. And all these riverlets came in here and they fed in. And so 143 square miles of Miocene fossil bed are now here, layered in here, where the sediments came down and laid down. Now sharks have Rolodex teeth, so they eat and they lose teeth as they eat. And so those teeth got deposited down in here, and they don't have to die to leave their teeth behind. A shark may lose 200 to 1,000 teeth in a year, and so there are actually billions of teeth down there in that layer.
So they're not like us, how we have like 2 sets of teeth.
Right, when we come across a sea lion tooth, that sea lion died, or we find a walrus tooth, that walrus had to die in order for it to be there. Dolphin, sperm whale, that sort of thing. They had to die to be there. But the shark's tooth is there. Imagine 5 million years with millions of sharks each millions of years, and so there's literally billions of teeth in that Miocene fossil bed.
So over thousands and thousands of years, obviously the water has receded down.
Okay, you've got the tectonic plates. You have the Pacific plate coming in and subducting underneath the North American plate, and that's led to some of the other wonderful science resources that we have. The foundation of Kern County was based upon gold and silver along here in the Sierras, where the tilt blocking has caused it to crumble up, and that may expose the green, the gold and the silver and the precious metals and so forth that are in the Sierras. And then, of course, the oil around here was left. Oil comes from marine bays. It does not come from dinosaurs.
Oh.
It comes from methane gases being shoved together and the biodegradation and the forcing together until you have long chains of carbons that are thick and called oil.
And that's why Kern County is so big with.
We've got oil. We've got agriculture from the sediments of the bay. We have marine fossil bed. We have the fossil bed. And so when you want to study Meg, you come where Meg lived in the largest fossil bed in the world. That's here.
And did they do study in Kern County to help them with the movie?
They did studies before that movie even came about. They did studies in Kern County all along to find the bite strength and so forth. They made a model megalodon shark, and they had it eating Volkswagens and surfboards, and so they came and they consulted with us before they built it to figure out exactly how big the bite size would be, what the structure of the jaws would be.
Now, is this from the actual movie? Are these pictures from the movie?
No, these are from before the movie. This is research prior to the movie. This was done, not Fear Factor, what was the one, the challenge one? Come on, what was the people that did crazy science stuff?
Oh.
Well, anyhow.
But, okay, this tooth right here.
Right, that's a cast from about a 55, that's cast from a real shark's tooth. That would have been about a 55 foot megalodon shark.
Okay, so if they use this, I'm looking at that picture with the jaws.
That one they did up to the 60 foot size, and they made metal teeth instead of fiberglass or rock teeth.
Yes. Well, so obviously if people come to the fair, they will see this here at the fair, your exhibit here.
Yes.
But will this also move to the museum? So if people miss it?
This has been at the museum. This has been in the museum. This is going back to the museum, so we'll have this back at the museum. But we're overcrowded in our room. We have so much stuff that, you know, we've got all of the sciences down there. We have the dinosaur era. Recently we added Carl Alfred von Zittel was the father of dinosaur paleontology, and at a auction in Los Angeles, I was able to purchase his 10 teaching posters that he painted and did in the 1870s. And we've got them now on display up in the top floor. And they're 4-foot by 5-foot teaching posters made by the father of dinosaur paleontology and used in his teaching at the University of Munich before it was bombed into oblivion in World War II.
So, besides seeing this exhibit, there's a lot more other things
All
to
the
see.
sciences. We've got geology, paleontology, gems and minerals. We've got dinosaur paleontology as well as the Miocene paleontology. We have the tar pit paleontology. We have biology. I did the classification scheme, down and dirty classification scheme in the basement.
So
in the
there's
ozone.
lots.
We
And
got
I
science,
have
aerospace.
been there, and
Yeah.
it is amazing. So make your way down. The address one more time.
2018 Chester Avenue, where the first Kern County Science Alliance is going to meet 7 o'clock the first Monday of every month from
Great.
now on.
Thank you, David, so much.
Thank you so much.
Again, if you miss it here at the fair, head on down there to the Buena Vista Museum. Back to you, Mike, at the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Marylou, and also to our special guests from the Buena Vista Museum. Fascinating place, and if you haven't been there recently, I think it was last year during the summer, I had an opportunity to go to the Buena Vista Museum and check out some of the new exhibits. And there's always something new to check out when you're there.
Changing it up a little bit.
You know, and it's something that's right in the backyard here in Kern County. It's right in downtown Bakersfield, and a wealth of knowledge with the people, the docents down there. And as he said, a lot of different sciences available right here in Kern County, and then therefore you can go and study those locally also at CSUB.
Right.
Well, you know what? You've been standing around. Time for you to get back to work.
I thought that might
All
happen.
right. Here we go. I know there are a lot of students that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade been working on expressions earlier this year.
Right.
And expressions then leads into some simple equations.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and start doing one.
Sure.
So we'll go 6x plus 7 minus 2x is equal to 3 plus 5x minus 9. So solve for x, if you would, please.
Got all kinds of stuff going on here. All right, well, usually the way that I try to attack these is, right at that equal sign, I just put a line, because I know that my equation needs to be broken up into two different sides. Left-hand side, right-hand side. So I'm going to do my best to simplify the left-hand side before we do any moving back and forth. I don't want to cross the line until I'm as simple as possible. So I think what we'll do here is put all these x's together, and if I do that, 6 minus 2 is 4x, and then this 7 just stays there. So I think that's about as simple as I can make the left-hand side. Do the same thing on the right side, but it looks like there's no x's to put together. Instead, there's some numbers here. So I'm going to keep that 5x here out in front, and then the other part says 3 minus 9, which is negative 6. This is our favorite part of the board over there. Okay, so now it looks like there's no more simplification to do as far as each individual side. But what I think I'll do now is start moving things around. Now, I always like to have the letters on the left. But as I look at this problem, it looks like if I bring that 5x over here, I'm going to end up with a negative x. So just this one time, just for this special occasion, I'm going to make the x's go to the right. And here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to subtract these x's here, and whatever I do on one side of this line, which is why I write the line, I'm also going to do on the other side. So I'm going to move this x to the other side by subtracting it. The nice part here is that that part cancels out, and I get a 7. That's all I got left there. That's getting more and more simple. And 5x minus 4x is 1x, which is kind of nice, getting a little simpler over here. Still got that minus 6, despite whether it wants to write or not. Okay, now I can take care of the 6 part. I'm going to move that to the other side by doing the opposite of what it says. And if I do it to the right side, I have to do it to the left side. So over here I have 13, and on the right-hand side I just have an x. You can keep that 1 there, certainly doesn't hurt anything. But usually when you find the answer in the book or when you're solving and there's a multiple choice problem, it usually just has an x at the very end. So that's kind of how I'd go about that one. And of course, at the very end of the problem, if you really want to make sure that you're correct, which is what I encourage my students to do, you can go back to the original problem at the very beginning and plug in that number for all the places you see x and see if both sides truly are equal.
And now, because I would want to make sure that you are satisfied with your problem. I want you to feel good that you are positive in your answer.
All right.
Of 13.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and check that
Let's do it.
just to make sure. And that way the students can see that it's not really a difficult process to verify that the problem is correct, and it doesn't take that long.
Right. Because sometimes that intimidates students. Oh, there's a whole other problem. Well,
Right, it
it's
took
really
me a
not
while
that
to
big a
do
deal.
it. Well, it'll take less time to check it now.
Yeah, that's right. So we have an answer of 13. So everywhere I see an X at the very beginning, I'm going to put a 13. 13 is going to go in there. 13 is going to go in there, in here with the 2. And 13 is going to go right here next to the 5. So 13 is going to go in lots of different places. So I'm going to do my best to rewrite this problem over here on the left-hand side. It looks like this. 6 times 13, that's the first part, plus 7 minus 2 times 13. So I'm just working with the left-hand side here, and I'm going to do that part first. 6 times 13, let's see, I get 18 and 1 is 78, plus 7 minus 26. I'm doing this all together here. 78 plus 7 is 85, minus 26. And it looks to me like 85 minus 26 is 59. So I hope that when I put that 13 on the other side, I'm going to end up with an answer of 59.
Right, and before you do that, I just want to take a moment to stress to the students how important it is for learning the order of operations. And we do that quite a bit on this program.
Right.
Because if you don't understand the order of operations up at the top when you're checking it, if you went right along, you would come up with a different answer.
Oh, yeah.
Which
It
is
would
why
really
you
throw
need to make
things
sure
off.
that you do that multiplication first before you add up the 85 together and then take away the 26.
Right,
so.
right. No, super important. I agree. And we'll look at that a little bit closer on the other side too. So don't have a lot of room over there, and I want to keep the work I've done. So this right-hand side, I'm going to do right below here. And remember, hopefully our answer will be 59. So I'm going to rewrite that problem. Looks like this. 3 plus 5 times 13, because remember the x is now 13, and then we'll subtract 9. So I hope that's going to be something that we can work with there. Okay, here we go. In the order of operations, just like you mentioned there, we wouldn't do the 3 plus 5 first, and this is a place where students get confused often because they go, oh, 3 plus 5 is something I can do real quick, I got it. But that's not what we need to do first. We need to do this multiplication part first. And so really this problem starts like this. 3 plus 5 times 13 is 65, and then we'll subtract 9. Now we can go in order because all we have left is addition and subtraction. So 3 plus 65 is 68. And if you do 68 minus 9, I'm psychic, I'm pretty sure it's going to end up being, oh, that works out so nicely, 59. So we like to have both sides be the same. That pretty much verifies the work we did at the beginning and shows that what we did was correct.
There you go. Nicely done. Well, I'm going to let you erase the board because I've got another equation, and there's a little something different about this one. So that's why I want the students to see this problem specifically.
Okay.
So we have 4x minus 2, open parentheses, 1 minus x, close parentheses, equal to 2, open parentheses, 3x minus 2, close parentheses, and we'll work on that.
Woo! Got quite a few things going on here. It was so exciting, it looked like an exclamation point. Okay, here we go. Looks to me like we want to cut this problem in half again, like I did in the last one. And I'm going to work just with the left-hand side first, which again, hopefully makes things a little simpler. If you look at a problem like this and you get intimidated by something because there's so much stuff going on, just take your paper, cover up half the problem, and work on one side at a time. And then it's not quite so bad, especially if you've done some expressions in your classroom before you got to the equation part. So that would be my suggestion. This 4x is going to stay right there. We're going to keep that all by itself. I'm not going to do anything with that at all. I do want to use the distributive property. But one of the reminders that I think we want to point out here is that when you distribute the 2 really isn't just 2. It's actually negative 2. So we're going to take that entire 2 with its sign, including its sign, and distribute it to the part that's here in parentheses. And when that happens, negative 2 times 1 is minus 2. It's pretty simple stuff. Negative 2 times negative x is a positive 2x. Now we're looking kind of familiar like we were in the last problem where we have a couple things to put together. And so we can put the x's all together, makes things a little bit more
430.
Nice. 4x plus 2x is 6x. And we still have the minus 2 there. That's as simple as we can get on the left-hand side. So we're going to do our best to do the same thing on the other side. I don't think it'll take quite as long because we don't have a negative number. We don't have other things to combine. But if you distribute this 2 here,
But not until 430.
to the two places we have. 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Now, upon looking at this answer, and I really encourage my students to do this, before you end up solving, just take a look at this problem, see what we have. Are there any similarities between the two sides? Is there anything strange going on here? Is there anything that you recognize from a different problem? And as you look at this problem, you might realize that both sides have the exact same term. The exact same term. It's a 6x. It's the same on both sides. And that makes for a really unique result when you try to go ahead and start to simplify this. So because both sides are as simple as possible, we can now start to move things around. So let's do that. I'm going to take this 6x and subtract it to make it go over here. And once I do it on one side of the line, got to do it on the other side of the line. So I'm going to do 6x here. And here is our super strange result. Not only do the x's go away on the right side, but they also go away on the left side. And when you have a problem with no more x's, it ends up being a very unique answer. And you have to ask yourself at the end of all this work, does negative 2 really equal negative 4? Nope, not really what we're looking for. That's nothing that it really, excuse me, nothing that exists in the world.
Right, and
Negative
some
2,
students will look at that and go, well, I need to get it to 1 because I'm always trying to find one x, but there's no x's. So if I divide each side by negative 2, I'll get a 1 on one of the sides.
Sure.
But then you're going to get something else on the other side. So you can keep on
Oh, you can keep messing with it and messing with
trying
it.
to justify how you're trying to keep going.
Yeah, yeah. But at the end of this problem, what we'd like to do is take a look at that and just say, in real life, is this ever the case? Is it ever the case that negative 2 is the same as negative 4? And the answer to that is no. This answer is wrong. There's nothing like that in the world at all. And so the actual answer to this problem starts with the word no. There is no solution to this problem because we ended up with an answer that makes no sense at all. How'd you like that solution that came up as a happy face right there? That worked out pretty well. So not always the happiest thing in the world actually to have no solution because it really throws students off. But this is a possibility. There is no number in the world that you could put in place of the x at the very beginning. There's no number you could put here and here and here that would make this whole thing true. It's just not possible. And so that happens sometimes.
Well, nicely done. And that's why I wanted you to go through that problem. So students are aware that there are problems like that because you may get a test and this is on there and it kind of throws you off because you're not getting something for X, you can't check it and things like that. Anyway, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon as we do most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. And we'll be back with more right after this. Today we're in Arroyo Grande. We're at Ocean View Elementary, home of the Cougars, and we're here to All right, today we're in Arroyo Grande over in San Luis Obispo County. We're at Ocean View Elementary. We've got some 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 6th graders that are going to help us out with a little bit of math today. And we're going to work with pentominos. Have you guys ever worked with pentominos before? Some of you are looking like, I don't know what pentominos are. Well, you know what? Today's your lucky day because we're going to start doing some work with them. So each of you is going to get a bag of pentominos. All right, so just take one and you can pass it on down. And we'll bring some over for you guys. And they're different colors, so that way you make sure you keep your bag separate from somebody else's. And you might have the same color as somebody, but hopefully not right next to each other in case you guys get them mixed up a little bit.
Here, Daddy.
Who else needs one? Does everybody have a bag?
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead, open up the bag, take the pieces out. You girls can turn around so that you've got your clipboards to work on right there.
This is like the order of operations symbol. I know, right? This is kind of like last year. Remember with those little phone things?
So one of the things I'd like you guys to do is, first of all, when you open them, count them and see how many different pieces you have. All right, count them and see how many different pieces you have.
12.
You have 12?
Yes, I have
Excellent.
12.
12?
12.
12, excellent.
Yep, 12.
12?
12.
12? 12, 12, a lot of 12s, 12, 12, 12, 12. All right, very good. All right, So have them all spread out. They don't all have to fit on the clipboard. They won't all fit on the clipboard probably right now. And what I want you to do is look at them and start telling me some things you notice about them. If this is the first time you guys are using these, what are some things you notice about these pentominos?
They all fit into each other? Like
They fit into each other, right? So it's kind of like a puzzle where they fit. What else you notice?
This could be like a multiplication symbol or a plus symbol.
It could be, right? It could work for both. What else?
They're almost like little letters, almost like a C.
So you notice some letters, right? Well, that is because the way they differentiate the pieces sometimes is they refer to them as pieces of letters, right? So they represent letters. Obviously, what do you think this would be?
An L.
An L.
A lowercase L or an I.
Or an I, right?
A T.
What do you think this one would be?
A Z.
A Z.
Or an S.
Well, this one, I think what they do is they say that's the S, right? But do you guys see how these could kind of roughly represent letters of the alphabet? All right. What else do you notice?
They're all different shapes.
Okay, they're different shapes. No two of them are exactly the same shape, are they? What else do you notice? There are a few other things. What else do you notice? Well, go ahead. Everything's good. I mean, we want to notice as many things as we can about them. So we've got their different shapes. Now, we said that they're different shapes. Are they also different sizes?
Yes.
Take a look at them again. How can you determine the size of one pentomino to the other? Pick up any two. Now, you said they're the same, different shapes, right? But as far as the size, so what do you notice about the size?
By counting the blocks, you can tell which size, how large they are.
Okay, by counting the blocks, by counting the squares, you can tell what size they are. Now, take any two at random, count the number of squares or blocks you count on them. Are they the same size or are they different?
Same size. They're 5.
They're all the same size, right? How many little squares are there in each one?
Mine doesn't have squares.
There are 5, but this one, right, so yours isn't broken into, you know what? Let me get you a pack where it is broken into squares.
I don't know.
Well, you know what? This is just the exploration of the pentominos to see what you guys notice about them. And what you're going to do next is you're going to have a little challenge I'm going to have you put forth with these pentominos to see if you can meet that at Ocean View Elementary. Well, we certainly did have an enjoyable day with both of the schools over on the Central Coast. And that one right there, a couple of students from Ocean View Elementary. And as we were driving to the school, we're driving and we're like, hey, you know what? This is kind of like in the middle of a neighborhood, as you would expect a school to be. Right. But we're like, we don't see the ocean around anywhere. What's the deal with the name Ocean View Elementary? Wow. You know, because we're just going to bed. As soon as we got up, got out of the car, we're standing at the front of the school. You look out, then you can see the ocean. Man. Now, if you look the other way, you can see the highway and everything else going on over there. But a very enjoyable day we had with the two schools over there. The students, they were great to work with. Hopefully learned a little bit, and we'll continue to do the math and continue to call in, get a little bit of help, even if you're pretty clear on what you're doing. If you just want to verify what you're doing, or possibly going, hey, you know, we're going to be coming up with this thing and I want to get a head start on it. Yeah. So can we go over a problem like that? And for all students in all schools, especially in Kern County, recently the Do the Math stickers and posters and binder dividers were sent out about a week or two ago. Mm-hmm. So those things are out and about right now. And this is the new style sticker and posters and things that are being sent out. Now, if you've received those at your school, however, if you need more, all you have to do is give us a call. The phone numbers are at the bottom of the screen periodically throughout the program. Simply let us know that your school needs more of whatever it is you want, and we'll be more than happy to send it out to you. Right. So everything is very, very simple here at Do the Math. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30, and it must be Marylou's day to play with the animals, because earlier she was in a shark's mouth, and now she's getting ready to be acquainted with a pig.
We are live at the Great Kern County Fair, and I am Megan Wegas. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can you tell us what section we're in right now?
We're in the swine section of the barn, and we're at my pen right now with Mila, my pig.
And what, who are you with? Who are you representing today?
Frontier FFA.
Okay. So how long have you been doing this?
This is my 3rd year showing pigs, but I've been doing fair since I was 8.
Okay. So Mila, correct?
Yes.
Can you kind of tell us how long you've been with Mila, or Mila's been with you?
Well, we picked her up around like the beginning of summer, and we have a school farm, so we've been taking care of her throughout the year and feeding and just taking general care of a pig. It's a lot of responsibility, but
Now, how old was she when you actually got her?
probably just a couple months around. It depends on how big you want to be your pig around fair.
And how much does she weigh now?
Right now, at first weigh-in, she weighed 270, but she's probably around 278, 280.
Well, how much would you say she weighed when you originally got her?
Got her probably around 190 pounds, maybe.
Oh, she was already at 190 when you...
No,
originally got- okay.
100, like 90
Okay.
to 100.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so if somebody wanted to get into this, okay, with the swine, and they, have never been involved, what are steps that they need to follow?
I know for what I did is that I got involved with somebody that had already done it, and I shared, and we just kind of half and half did it both together. That way we could team up and do certain stuff
So
together.
you guys shared one together?
Yes. Well, we shared she had a pig and I had a pig, and our families worked together to kind of get us into the program before we went off on our own.
Okay, so you said it's a lot of responsibility. What do you
Yes.
mean by that?
Well, every day you have to go out and you have to feed and you have to water and you have to just take general care of an animal. She's a pet. You got to take care of her and make sure her needs are.
Okay, so did you have her in your backyard?
No, we have a school farm that our Ag Boosters program actually provides to us. It's really cool. It's no cost. We get to keep our pigs there, and we get to come out whenever we want to and feed and just do the general care. It's a really cool program that we have.
So would you have to go before school and after school to take care of her?
Yes, every morning, 5 o'clock in the morning when school started, go out and feed, go home and get ready for school, and after school and after practices, you'd come back out and feed him, water and wash and do the whole thing again.
Now, I know you're involved with sports. What happens when you have to leave for a tournament?
For a tournament, well, we have great people out there that you can just ask to help, and they definitely will. A lot of them are just surrounded. I'm surrounded by them, and it's just a great program for people to help you out with you.
Do you have sponsors?
Yes, actually, we have a banner out there that has a lot of sponsors. We actually did a lot better in sponsors this year. It's a lot of family and a lot of companies, and just going out and walking out there and asking people to help you.
And it's not cheap, is it?
No. You got to pay for feed, and sometimes you get on supplements to make your pig look bigger in certain areas to help you during the show. So it's really rough, but the end is definitely
worth it.
Worth it, yes.
Now, this week you started with all the showmanship and all that.
Yes.
When was that? Thursday? Or?
Showmanship was yesterday, and the day before that was our market.
Okay, what does showmanship look like?
Showmanship is basically just how you control the pig. You should stay on the right side, on the opposite side of the judge of the pig, and just basically your control over the pig and how much that you guys work together.
It's almost like having a dog, right? Like at a
Yes.
dog show where you have to make sure they're standing a certain way.
Yes.
Okay. And so obviously you've had to work with your pig and train your pig on that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And from there, from the showmanship, what was next?
Well, that would be after yesterday, which was showmanship. We had Kern bred and fed, and that was all the pigs that were raised and bred in Kern County went out there and they judged the pig instead of showmanship where the judge judges us. They judge the pig and how they look and how their proportions are.
And you did really well.
I believe I did, yes.
You did. So tell everybody where you went yesterday.
Yesterday we had our showmanship judge. She kept 1 to 2 people per class, and I was the only person from my class that ended up staying. And in just the final drive, it just didn't work out, but I had an amazing time.
Congratulations for
Thank
getting
you.
there. Okay, so when we come back, Megan's going to have a math problem for us because obviously there's a lot of math involved
Yes.
with this. So we're going to send it back to the studio for now.
Thanks for that, Marylou. A lot of interesting things with the pigs and everything else going on at the Great Kern County Fair. Yeah, I got that out. 636-4357. I was thinking about bacon and other things, pork chops.
You're probably drooling about
all
the
that
corn
kind of
dogs
stuff.
and
So
deep fried Twinkies and whatever else is out there.
well, you know what? Not that fair food necessarily, but where it comes that pig
The pig. You
could
see
provide a
lots
lot of food
breakfast
right there.
coming from that guy.
Yeah, mighty fine stuff right there. All right, we're going to go to the phones. And Vanna, how are you today? Hello? Hello, Anna? I do believe we have Anna from Warren Junior High School. Are you there, Anna?
I'm sorry.
Well,
I
we'll
can't
try to
hear
get her
you.
back. Oh, we got her now. Anna, you there?
Her.
Hello, Anna.
Hi.
All right, you're in 8th grade?
Yes.
All right, as soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem you're working on.
Okay, it's x plus y over 5 equals 10. And it says solve for y.
Oh, what a great problem. So Anna, let me make sure I heard you correctly. X plus y, and then you put a big line underneath that and put a 5 underneath, and that equals 10. Is that correct?
It's y over 5 equals 10.
Is the y only over 5 or x plus y? Just the y?
Y over 5.
Gotcha. Okay, so it sounds like it may be a little bit different than the one I wrote up here. So it's x all by itself plus y over 5 equals 10. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it says solve for y.
Gotcha. So the goal of this problem is to get y all by itself. Any ideas what you want to do with this problem, Anna?
Yeah, I think you would subtract the x.
I like that part. That's a good idea. So just like I was doing a little earlier on some of our equations, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line right down the middle of the problem over top of that equal sign, okay? So I know that if we do something to one side of the equation, we have to do it to the other one. So what you said, and I like this idea a lot, you said you're going to go ahead and subtract the x. We'll do that on the left-hand side. Do you have to do it on the right-hand side as well?
Yes.
Yes, exactly right. Good job. So I'm going to move the x over there. So on the left-hand side, it looks like, I love to change colors. It looks like we have no more x's. That's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what's left on the left-hand side of this equation.
Y over 5.
Good job. Y over 5. And what do you have left on the right-hand side of the equation?
10 minus x.
Good job. So far, so good. So again, we're shooting for y all by itself. Now, we don't have that quite yet, but we're getting awfully close because there's just the 5 left. How do you want to get rid of that 5, Anna?
By multiplying it.
Good job, yeah. So the y over 5 in a fraction form means divide, and the opposite of that is multiply. So we'll multiply times 5. Now you're going to have to help me out a little bit on the right-hand side, because when you multiply times 5, there's some pretty unique things that go on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So the 5s on the left-hand side go away. That's kind of a nice deal. Now tell me what you're going to do on the right-hand side with this 5.
It would be 5 times 10 minus x.
Gotcha. Yes, definitely 5 times 10 minus x. Now what I did on my paper, or on my board, and I hope that you're doing this on your paper, is I put the 10 minus x in parentheses, because what we want to do is we want to multiply the 5 times everything that was over there on the right-hand side. Absolutely everything. So I put it in parentheses. Did you do that on your paper as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got parentheses there. So if you have a number next to a group of terms with parentheses around it, what is the next step that you're going to do there?
You have to distribute.
Good for you. I like it. So we're going to distribute the 5 to the 10 and distribute the 5 to the x. So tell us what our result is when you distribute the 5.
50 minus 5x.
Oh, very well done. 50 minus 5x. Is there any other way, Anna, that you might see this answer? Because sometimes on a multiple choice test, the answers don't always look like what we get. So at the very end of this, it says 50 minus 5x. What other way could you express that answer?
It could be like just the 10 minus x in parentheses and the 5 on the outside.
Yeah, if they said don't distribute, right? Or if they said express this as a product of 2 quantities, you could do it that way. With the answer that we have, 50 minus 5x, is there any way to use those terms, perhaps in a different order?
I'm not sure.
Well, let's see here. If we wanted to switch these things around, you know that the 5x has a negative sign in front of it. Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell me what the sign is on the 50.
In front of the 5x?
No, in front of the 50. What is the sign on the 50? Is the 50 a positive or a negative number?
Positive.
Good. So I'm going to put just a little positive right there just to remind us, hey, that 50 really is a positive. Now, the reason I point this out is because when you get to algebra, a lot of times when you solve for y, which we just did, the answer needs to be in a form that we can use to graph a line. None of which is all that important right now, but the point that I'm trying to make is that in this problem right here, sometimes you'll see the answer where the x is before the number. So we're going to go ahead and take those two terms, the 50 and the negative 5x, and just flip them around, okay? So the first thing I'm going to write in this problem is negative 5x. So I'm just putting it in front instead of in back. And tell me what would happen at the very end. What would happen with the 50? If I move the 50 to the end. Go ahead, Anna, what do you think? If you move the 50 to the end, I'll go ahead and move the number. There's the 50. What would be the sign between the 5x and the 50?
The positive sign.
That's it. You're exactly right. That's why I put that positive sign at the beginning. And so sometimes when they ask you to solve for y, the result they want is the x term first and then the number. And so we want to make sure that both of these answers are correct. Both of them totally work. But sometimes this form will be a little bit nicer to see, especially, like I said, if you're on a multiplication problem, a multiple choice problem, and one of the answers is negative 5x plus 50. Both those answers work, though. Nice job.
There you go. Nicely done. And for a wonderful problem like that, we're going to send you a ticket to the Kern County Fair. And you see that pig out there if you go out there.
That's right. Go check him out.
It gets auctioned off. All right. Speaking of pigs, here we go. Clear the board, young man.
You got it.
Feeling hungry? You're going to write down a couple of items.
Okay.
All right. 3 pounds of bacon.
Okay.
Each pound is $1.79.
Okay.
All right. Would you like some biscuits with this?
Oh, heck yeah. If we're going to
All
have
right.
breakfast.
How
we gotta
many
do some
biscuits would you like?
You know what? Let's make it an even dozen. How about
All right.
that?
So put down a dozen biscuits.
Okay.
And let's make them 39 cents a piece.
Okay.
And we need one other item. How about something to drink?
Little OJ? Little orange juice for
There
our
you go.
breakfast? Is that all right?
There you
Okay.
go. And let's just make it $1.50 a glass.
Okay.
And we'll need 2 glasses.
All right. Sounds like we need to do some addition.
So we want to know what this is going to cost us.
Right. I like this meal. Is this for 1 or 2 people?
You and I, 2 glasses of OJ right there. Wash it all
That's
down,
right. Boy, that's a good meal right there.
Nice
Okay.
and healthy, huh?
So let's see if we can add all this together. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can go about this. You could do one big, gigantic addition problem by adding 179 and 179 and 179. And then you could put 39 down 12 times. And then you could put $1.50 down twice, and you could add all those together. I'm going to take a little shortcut here because I'd like to do some multiplication. And the problem that we're going to work with here is $1.79. Instead of doing all of our addition, I'm going to do a little multiplication here. So $1.79 times 3, that's one of the problems we're going to do. We're also going to do a 39 cents times 12 because we have a dozen. And then we're going to add to that, what do we have? $1.50 times 2. Excuse me. So after all those things, we're going to see if we can add all those 3 together. So we'll do one at a time. I'll start with the 179. 9 times 3 is 27, and carry the 2. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 is 23. Carry that 2. And 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So it looks like our bacon is going to cost us $5.37. How about those biscuits? We've got a little more work to do on that one. We'll see how much we're going to pay for our biscuits here. 9 times 2 is 18, and we'll carry this one. 3 times 2 is 6, and we'll add the 1 there, and you get a 7. Don't forget your space holder. 1 times 9 is 9, and 1 times 3 is 3. If you add these together, you get 8 and 16 and 4. So the bacon costs just a little bit more than the biscuits. And then you have the orange juice. And the orange juice is one of those ones where you might be able to do it in your head, but we'll go ahead and work out the math problem anyway. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10, and we'll carry the 1 here. And 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 more is 3. So we got $3 for OJ. Now, if you want to figure out how much this entire meal is going to cost for 1 or 2 or 12 people, depending on how many people are at your table, then we're just going to add up those three numbers together. So I'm going to keep on going with this $3. $4.68, and the other one is $5.37. So all together, with this fabulous breakfast meal, 8 plus 7 is 15. We'll add a 1 there. 6 and 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10. We'll add one more 1 there. 5 and 4 is 9 plus 1 is 10 plus 3 more is 13. So far, so good. We have paid for the food as long as there's no tax.
But we know in the real world there is tax.
There's always tax.
Let's make it an easy one. Let's just make it 10%.
Okay, sounds good.
So let's add 10% tax.
Wonderful. Let's do 10% tax. It's a little bit rough, even rougher than California, but we will, for the sake of this problem, work out pretty well. I love to use problems that involve 10% because we don't have to do a lot of multiplication here. We can just move the decimal. And so when you take 10% of a number, wherever the decimal is, in this case it's right in the middle here, we're going to move that decimal one place, just one place, and we end up with this really weird number, 1.305. Now it's hard to imagine that number on a cash register because it seems to have too many numbers after the decimal. So we're going to go ahead and round this number so that this number, this 5, is not part of our number. We're going to round this to $1.31. So there's our tax. You want to find the total? Should we go all the way to the end?
Well,
here?
you know that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
You've got about 40 seconds.
We can
and
do
we're
it.
going to work out perfect on this.
We can do it. So here's your food total, $13.05. And we also have a total for tax, $1.31. If you add them together, we have 5 plus 1 is 6, 0 plus 3 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, and you're going to bring this 1 down, $14.36. And if you really wanted to have a good time with this, you can go back and divide by the number of items, but I think we're going to go ahead and leave it there. That's a pretty darn good deal for a dozen biscuits, 3 pounds of bacon, and 2 glasses of orange juice.
Indeed it is. And if I pay you $15 an hour, the hour that we're on from 4 to 5, you could buy that for all.
That's right.
And we can go out and have a little
Hey,
feast right
good
there.
deal.
All right, perfectly done. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Don't forget, San Luis Obispo County students, especially those 2 schools, you've got a little contest, and Doc Bernstein's ice cream riding on it every single moment of the way. Don't forget, you can also email us. Everything's at the bottom of your screen throughout the program. We have an opportunity to go one more time out to Marylou and the Kern County Fair.
We are back live at the Great Kern County Fair, and I am with Megan Wegas, and we are in the swine bar. Yes, barn. Swine barn. And looking around, they all look pretty comfortable.
Yeah, actually, fun fact, pigs, they don't sweat. They have to, lay down and cool down because their skin doesn't allow them to sweat for that release.
So that's what they're doing right now. They're
Yes.
just kind of relaxing to cool themselves down.
It gets really hot out here, so they have to relax and cool down.
And that's what all the fans are for, obviously.
Yes.
Not only to cool you guys down.
Yes, so the pigs as well.
Okay. So we were talking a little bit before the break that there is a lot of mathematics involved.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you kind of give us a little rundown?
Well, just to right off the bat, a feed to weight conversion factor. For every 3 pounds of feed that Mila will eat, she'll gain 1 pound. So that's really beneficial in the average daily gain of a
Now,
pig.
also with weigh-in, you have to be at a certain weight for your pig to compete. What is that weight?
You have to have a minimum of 250 pounds and a maximum of 270.
So they can't go over that.
They cannot go over 270.
So if they did, if you brought them out at weigh-in, they went over, what's the consequence?
If you were to have 1 pig, you could still show in showmanship. But if you had 2, your pig would have to be hauled off that night. And unfortunately, you don't get to sell your pig in the auction if you go over or under.
Okay, so have you ever had that happen to you?
Yes, second year actually. My pig didn't make it to fair because she was so little, but this year definitely made up for it.
Oh, so she was under the weight.
She was way under, yes.
Okay, so math. Let's get back to math.
Yes.
So you have a problem for us.
Absolutely. So in week 1, Milo weighed 100 pounds, and in week 2, she gained 114. Using my average daily gain, you subtract 114 from 100, and if you were to weigh on one Monday to the next Monday, you divide by the amount of days, which is 7, to figure out that you were to gain she gained 2 pounds per day.
Oh, okay, and this is our average daily gain?
Yes.
Which, looking at that, obviously, being a math teacher, it looks like percent of change. It's very similar to that. So you guys do need to know your mathematics.
Absolutely.
Are
yes.
you responsible for keeping track of things that you purchase, so you know?
Yes. We have a record book that tracks all our finances and all of the activities that we do with our animals, and it's a required thing to do before fair, and our leader really pushes us to do that because it helps with journalism skills and staying on track.
So is that part of the competition as well, as that you have to provide that notebook so they could see all of your journal entries?
Yes, you have to enter it. There's actually a competition for it for FFA. There's a competition that you can enter in for it, but yes, you have to use that.
Okay, let's talk about auction, because that's where you are going next.
Yes.
So how does that happen? Because I've never been to an auction, so kind of run it through somebody who's never been there before.
So what you do is, if you'll market placing really helps, and the pigs will be marked with the number of the chalk on their back, and they'll start calling pigs over, and they'll get loaded in a trailer and moved over to the auction barn, and just one by one the pigs will load, and the bid will start, and after you're done they go off into a different section than you, and they go to the buyer, and you enter in your sponsorships. That gives you extra money.
Real quick, your sponsors.
Yes, I definitely have my grandparents, Erudite Pipe Rental, Dr. Kirk Finberg, Dr. Peter D. Kim, W.A. Thompson, Dr. Baker, Vince Odo from Wells Fargo, Creative Graphics, and just families and friends. Thank you guys so much. You definitely really helped me out this year.
Okay, real quick. One thing that you want to give advice to those people out there who want to get started with FFA, what would your advice be?
Definitely just don't be afraid to come out and ask people. All the people that I've met around here are super friendly, and they're never going to shut you down. So just go out there and just be yourself and continue to keep doing what you want to do.
Are you going to come back out next year?
Absolutely, yes.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Oh, always. Okay, well, that's it for today from the Great Kern County Fair. Come on out here. I believe it's running for one more week. There's so much to do. There's a great new garden by Grimway to check out, so make your way on down here. Back to you, Mike, at the studio.
All right, thanks for that. As a matter of fact, I think Marylou and the guys are going to go check out that garden by Grimway.
That's right.
And see what's going on over there. Maybe they can get a little bit of footage and share that with us probably tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. Anyway, 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30, and we do have some more fair tickets to give away. So we will be giving those away tomorrow, which will be the last opportunity we can do it on the live program.
Right.
Because, as Marylou said, the fair will be ending, and I think it's this coming Sunday. So we do have some fair tickets for you to win, and all you have to do is give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to pass those along to you. Don't forget, folks over in San Luis Obispo County, those tally marks are being added up, and we'll give you principals an update at the end of the week. And until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, California Resources Corporation, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and the Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.